Lauren and Mike, good evening to you. Crews, they are still on the ground here on Burke Road. You can see behind me, they are still working to remove what looks like the landing gear of the helicopter from the power lines. It looks like they just brought them down. Now, the NTSB says it could be months before we know exactly what happened here on Burke Road. And the spokeswoman for the NTSB tells me that flying near the power lines like this crew was not uncommon.
The helicopter was hovering over the area for most of the day. It was flying very low.
People living near Burke Road noticed a helicopter flying low near the power lines for much of the day Tuesday.
Seen them about 5 times coming over the field. We seen them and everything was normal through the whole day.
A normal day of work for the 4 men on board until tragedy struck.
I heard loud exploding, and soon I came outside, when she came and got me, and I seen big fire.
Next thing was a boom, so came out and all of a sudden saw the flash.
Both neighbors say they saw the unthinkable.
Next thing I saw was a man jumping out, and then within a matter of seconds, it blew up again.
The NTSB arrived Wednesday morning to start an investigation that could take nearly a year.
We'll definitely want to talk to the survivors of the accident, and that's part of our investigation to kind of find out what was going on at the time of the accident. What were the conditions, what were the conversations going on in the cockpit? Did they hear any warnings, horns, anything of that nature? Trying to piece together exactly what went wrong. Then when we look at the wreckage, we can kind of see, from impact marks and, kind of how it all came apart.
The 2 survivors returned to the scene Wednesday, likely reliving the horror of what happened.
I just hope that I never see anything like that again.
Now, truly a horrific scene here. Now, crews behind me, as I said, they're securing the landing gear that is caught in the power lines. They just brought it down and they needed to secure that and bring it off of the power lines before they could begin their investigation below for safety concerns. Now, the agency spokeswoman I spoke with says that the investigation could be released. The preliminary reports from the investigation could be released as early as next week. Live here in Beekmantown, Haley Bouley, Local 22 News. His laugh is infectious, and his smile can light up a room. But behind that beaming grin is a 5-year-old boy in the battle of his life.
His official diagnosis is hypoplastic left heart syndrome, and he's also has PVS, pulmonary vein stenosis.
Something Isaiah Delorier's dad, Joe, says he was born with.
He had his first open heart surgery on my birthday, actually, when he was 3 days old, and he's had 3 of them since then.
But this little boy continues to fight the odds, making it onto the heart transplant list this past August, right before he started kindergarten.
Because that was a big step. We really wanted him to get to school and make some friends. So.
Did he like kindergarten?
Loves it. He loves kindergarten, loves all his friends, and misses them.
Waiting at home, living as normal of life as possible until a routine checkup.
They had said that he was basically in heart failure.
Forcing Isaiah and his mom, Lori, to stay at Boston Children's Hospital with medicine that will help his heart continue to thump, while Dad and Isaiah's sister, Piper, make the 5-hour drive every weekend to visit them.
You backpack.
Lori is so positive, and Joe is so positive throughout this that I honestly don't know where they get their strength from. So we're just trying to, build a little bit behind them just to get them through this.
Family friend Lori Gagne has made it her mission to help this family in any way she can. This Saturday, she's holding a fundraiser at the Peru VFW, hoping to raise $10,000 to help pay the bills.
We just wanted to make the family, things easier on them throughout this process.
Although they aren't expecting a match for 6 to 8 months, when that phone call does come.
It's going to be a happy day.
And even though Isaiah has an uphill fight ahead of him, there's no stopping this little boy.
He's a miracle, and we thank God every day for the miracle that we have in him, and we just continue on.
He's a fighter.
He is a fighter.
In Peru, Haley Bouley, Local 44 News.
She was at the bottom of the stairs, so we don't know. We'll never know.
we'll never know what happened.
As temperatures in Newport, New Hampshire plummeted well below zero Monday morning.
Shortly after 7, it was 8 below.
Police believe 2.5-year-old Sophia Van Soik somehow got out of her home on Maple Street.
She opened the door. It was locked, but it opens.
And couldn't get back inside.
I guess the neighbors heard a child at 4 o'clock in the morning and looked outside, didn't see anything.
A neighbor found her early the next morning, but it was too late. Little Sophia had already died from the cold.
Very active, very happy little girl.
Her grandfather told us his family is a mess, trying to sort through just what happened to their little girl. And neighbors are still stunned that this could happen so close to home.
Terrible, especially for a little child. I don't know. It's just terrible.
Police say the family had just moved to the Newport area last weekend.
Right now, all indicators are pointing towards exposure as being the contributing factor.
In Newport, New Hampshire, Haley Bouley, Local 44 News. Back in 1928, the Yankees won the World Series, gas cost 22 cents a gallon, sliced bread was invented, and many of the men and women sitting around this table were born. Ranging in age from 90 all the way to 104, the Heidenberg Community Senior Center made Tuesday all about the birthdays of 25 of their community members at the 9th annual 90-plus birthday party.
It's particularly exciting to see this table over here get bigger and bigger each year.
For Eugene Herrick, not only was the day a chance to celebrate, he got the chance to catch up with an old friend.
We went to the same high school in Greenfield, Massachusetts, and we graduated in 1947.
The pair, by chance, sat together at the end of the table. Heidenberg high stepper Elsa Wheel showed off her moves, still kicking it quite literally at 92 years young.
It's a lot of fun, and it's an outlet for dancing where you don't need a partner, you just can dance and enjoy what you're doing and enjoy the company.
And with no plans of slowing down anytime soon.
That's what it's all about, enjoyment. And a great, great friendship.
Treated to dinner, dessert, and a show, Beth Hammond, the executive director of the center, says celebrations like these help to foster their healthy aging and overall well-being.
Events like this just brings together participants who haven't seen each other for a while or maybe come every day, and just to carry on the camaraderie and the friendships.
Cheers to many more happy and healthy years. In Burlington, Haley Bouley, Local 44 News. Before Tuesday evening, any leftover snow on the ground was getting icy.
It was the noisiest snowshoe we've ever done.
Stowe residents Mike and Patty Haynes couldn't have been happier to wake up Wednesday morning with nearly a foot of fresh powder, grabbing their cross-country skis and heading up to Smuggler's Notch. But outdoor enthusiasts, beware. Ice is still lurking underneath. The problem is this latest light and fluffy snow is falling on top of rock solid ice, and the two, they aren't really bonding together, and that's what's creating the potential for slides. They may be relatively rare here in the east, but avalanches aren't unheard of, especially when conditions are ripe.
When the snow comes down, it doesn't bond with that hard layer underneath, which creates sort of typical prime conditions for that snow sliding and perhaps creating avalanche danger.
Neil Van Dyke, the search and rescue coordinator for Vermont's Department of Public Safety, says avalanches are most likely on 35 to 45 degree slopes.
As much as you can, avoid those steep open slopes.
If you do plan on venturing out into the backcountry, the proper planning and equipment can save your life.
A probe, shovel, and a beacon.
And always let someone know where you're going and when you plan to be back.
It's one of those things that rarely happens, but obviously it's always something you got to be aware of, the changing conditions. So I guess if you're not sure, check in terms of making a call to the mountain, whatever.
In Stowe, Haley Bouley, Local 44 News. For the Bernstein brothers, it's a constant battle.
Snowboarding is skiing is superior. Stop it, move. No, skiing is better.
These Long Islanders have spent the past few February breaks in the Green Mountain State, skiing and riding at Smuggler's Notch.
I love it. I love it. It is good.
The family of five was kicking off their vacation Monday afternoon by picking up their rental gear at Triple Diamond Ski Shop, a business that has been bustling this President's Day weekend.
Our business really is tied to the fortunes of Smugglers, and when Smugglers has a lot of customers, we have a lot of customers. When we have a lot of snow, we all have a lot of customers.
Shop owner Danny White says he's doing nearly 20% better than last year.
We come here for our ski rentals pretty much every time.
And like the Bernsteins, many folks travel for hours to come to the area.
We've got a lot of people from the East Coast, obviously northern, New York City, Connecticut, Boston, but then we have a ton of people from Florida right now too.
To the benefit not only of the ski resorts, but also the small mom and pop stores that surround them.
The local businesses in the evenings are packed. And it's always nice when we can help out our partners along the road, the mountain road, and in Jeffersonville community as well.
And this year, visitors are treated to some of the best conditions Smugs has seen in nearly 20 years.
Absolutely a robust season. It's been one of our deepest seasons to date.
And the Bernstein boys couldn't be more pumped to race each other down the slopes.
So excited.
In Jeffersonville, Haley Bouley, Local 44 News.